interesting board. Let me know when you're also in yellow. Then
I'm still looking for the name here. Sorry.
I've sent a DM. It's or just search for KOC. Okay.
Let's see. How do you search in Sorry, I'm still not seeing.
Control and F.
Oh, gotcha. You mean the websites? Oh, there we go. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Perfect. Right, I'm in the board now. Sorry about that.
Okay, good. Okay. Fortunately, we still have enough time to check out the first placements. Low ore board. Well, it's 10 points of ore, but the 8 ore probably won't be placed on a lot. We also have a low weed board. 6 weed, but further than that, not a lot of good weed, so everyone wants to be placing on the 6 weed. What is your go-to when you look at the board like this, Yellow?
Yeah, so what I tend to try to do on a board like this, if ore is going to be super low, it's going to be a long game. So you've got to be able to play almost like a production road game here, at least what I try to do. If you can get like on the 4 or, like the 8-4-3 or something like that, you may be able to, kind of, play a little bit of an ore wheat sheep game, but like, the thing I would be looking for is, potentially trying to get a pretty decent also brick spot or wood spot here so that you can try to expand, get a lot of production, maybe get to a port, either a 3-1 or a 2-1, and try to upgrade to your city that way. It's an interesting board. I mean, the 8s, unless you just go 8-10. So DJ goes 6-5-11 to start, gets the good wheat.
I think this is the best spot on the map for sure. Very flexible spot. Works with wood. If you can get a sheep, then you another ore, so something like the 8-10 or the 8-3 also works really well with it. I think this is a really good start by Jay.
Let me ask you this, Treeckosaurus. Do you think actually like the 6-4-3? Well, because like the 6-4-3 also matches up really well with the 8-10, right? So you're playing a coastal spot, your production is really low, but the 6-4-3 would block the 8-4-3, and you would also have a pretty strong ore wheat sheep gang with 2 ore and 2 wheat.
Yeah, for sure. I like that idea. I think the 6-5-11, like if you assume one player is gonna go 6-5-11, the other player is gonna go 6-4-3, or 6-4-11. Then the second player is going to place on the 8-10 and taking that sheep. If you take 6-5-11, you also have a backup option because you have the brick, so it works a little bit better with the 8-3. And I also think it's more solid with the other picks available, like something like 6-4-2 being available. Then I think it's more well-rounded spot, and that's kind of weird because it doesn't have a board available. But I think overall 6-5-11 is the right pick here because of its flexibility with different resources.
Yeah, that's fair.
Also like I like how the picks are done so far, and like Catan Man makes his play this way. Like I think 6-4-3, 6-4-11 are both great spots, but this way he locks out the other player from the 6 weed. I think that's the right thing to do. However, you could also very well make the argument that you want to have as many people as possible on your critical weed spot, so it isn't blocked as much. What do you think?
Yeah, that's a good point, but I mean, I don't know that I see anyone taking the 6-11-12. So like even if he goes 6-4-3 there, right? I don't know that anyone's going to play 6-11-12 right now. that's the only other side of that, right? So you could take 6-4-3 and then leave it open for 6-4-11. Maybe someone takes like a 10-9-5 down at the bottom and builds up to it. I think that takes a little bit of time, but I don't know that you're going to get more than 2 people on that spot anyway. But I don't know. That's an interesting. I definitely agree with you that you should try to have as many people on that as possible for purposes of protecting it. But I just don't see anyone taking the 6, 11, 12.
Yeah, makes. However, it could very well be. If someone places there, it would probably be a player who also on the 8-10, and I think placing on the 8-10 and the 6, 11, 12 is a bit weak in terms of overall production. That doesn't. I don't see it happening. So next up is Alchemist. Where do you think Alchemist go right now, or where would you go?
Yeah, I'm kind of looking over it here. Depends on how he wants to play, because at the end of the day, typically your suggestion is that you take the rarest resource in third position. In this case would be ore, but I don't know that just starting with the 8-10 here or the even 8-3 is a good play at all. I think what he's really gonna kind of be forced into is almost like a really strong road and port strategy. I mean, if I'm looking at the board in this position, it's a really tough position to win from, in my opinion. There's a couple of spots I think he can look at, right? He can look at the 10-9, 10-9-5 at the top. That gives you the brick, wood, and sheep. And then your second placement, you can probably try to find a wheat, like the maybe 9-3, 11 will be open, just to give you a wheat. Again, I don't think you have to take wheat here because you're not going to get any better position going the 2 or the 3. So I would try to get a strong resource and something other than what. So, for example, DJ's probably going to need wood. I think if we assume, somewhere in the 6-4-3 area gets taken, whether that's 6-4-2 or something like that. So DJ's going to need wood. Catan Man's going to need both wood and brick. And I don't know that he's going to get both of those at the same time. So someone's going to take the 10-9-5, which means that Catan Man's going to either be locked out of wood or locked out of brick. So I would be trying to position myself with a good wood or brick spot here. And I think that the 10-9-5 gets you both.
Yeah. I also think it's critical to place right now, because risk I see with taking 10-9-5 is that the other player selects both spots on the feed. Not that likely, but they could very difficult for you or force you into a setup where you're definitely comfortable with, because relying on a free probably want to do. Although I think 5-9-10 doesn't create that big. I was also looking at Jolly's, and I see a setup where you can do 6-4-3 or 6-4-2 and 5-9-10 and then go to the wood board. And I kind of like that idea, as you'll have a really good potential to take longest road. And I think you'll have some decent third and fourth settlement spots that you can work with. On top of the fact that wheat and ore is pretty low.
Sorry, Treeckosaurus. I didn't actually see that Alchemist had played. So he went the 8-3-10.
Yeah.
But he took the wheat spot as you suggested. So now we're at Jolly, which I agree with your assessment. This is where I would say you go really strong, a brick and wood. Because again, he's going to lock out pretty much the 8-4 unless you really just want to go 8-4, which I don't think is strong enough with the wheat that you're going to have to play the ore wheat sheep game. So I think you have to go really strong wood brick here, which would be something like the 6-4. Yeah, so that's what he's going to do. go to the wood port and probably go 6-4. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I also saw that. Then he can have coordinated nines. However, I don't like leaving open the 5, 9, 10, and here's why. I don't see Alchemist placing on the 5, 9, 10 here, and if he doesn't, that leaves it open for the Catan man, and Catan man 4, 11, 5, 9, 10. I'm not sure how you beat that, to be honest.
Yeah, that's a pretty good spot for sure. He's got every resource. He's got very good productions. He's got the wheat that's going to be rare in this game. He's also got the ore that's going to be very rare in this game. And then also what he can do with that is he starts with the free road. He could potentially build up to the 3-for-1 port or to the 2-for-1 port, both of which I think could essentially help him, you know. But you start with the free road, and if you link to the 3-for-1, that doubles your 5, and you also have the sheep port over on the 11. So he's got a lot of options with that 5, 9, 5, 10, 9 spot, and I don't. Again, I 100% agree with you. I'm not sure that we can leave 5, 9, 10 there. That's just a really good spot for him.
Yeah, I could see many reasons why Alchemist should take the 5, 9, 10 or the 5, 9, 2, blocking out the 5, 9, 10. I think both spots work well with it. 5, 9, 2 would be more of a defensive play. I think 5, 9, 10 is a little bit more production, and you start with a road, which can definitely help. 5, 9, 2 would give you that extra point of wheat, and that wheat you can use from the start. You consider the 5, 9, 2 over the 5, 9, 10, or how would you go on this?
Yeah, I think I would actually go 5, 9, 2 here. One, because it gives you the sheep, which you're well, he's got the 8 sheep, so you don't really need one. That's interesting. Yeah. I think if you go 5, 9, 2, that no one's going to be able to build in between you. Where if you go 5, 9, 10, you could potentially also you start with the road, but again, you're giving someone the settlement spot on the 9-4, and you're essentially racing for it. So I in this case would probably go 5, 9, 2, and that way it takes away the blue settlement spot for Jolly on the 9-4-2.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, and that also blocks the 5, 9, 10 from Catan Man here.
Yeah. Would you be worried about, like, if you take 5, 9, 2, that Catan Man decides to take the 5, 10? Personally, think 8, 10 is better, but 5, 10 an option for them?
Let's look at that. That's a good question, because I mean that is the concern of not taking 5, 9, 10. I think there's two challenges with it. One, you're racing blue for the 4, 9, 2, and then the other side of it is if you take 5, 9, 2, you're potentially leaving open the 5, 10. But who would take that? So DJ definitely wouldn't take that, I don't think. That does give him the sheep, but he's got he's got the sheep, which he could also get on the 8, 10 if Catan Man doesn't take that. It's possible that even DJ may take that for the sheep purposes. That leaves him without wood, though. Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough spot for Alchemist to be in here, honestly. Yeah, he ended up taking the 5, 9, 2. I agree with that spot. I don't think the 5, 10 is going to take, but it's definitely possible. It's a risk for sure.
Sure. So 3-for-1 port or 5, 10. Probably your first settlement will be 8-4. So I would go with 3-for-1 port here. Ooh, other option. Kind of a risky one with the DJ 5-11, but maybe they negotiated about the setup. Next up is Catan Man.
If I was Alchemist in this position, I would almost be, having some sort of conversation with DJ just to say, hey, I'm going to take the 5, 9, 2. It's not a great setup for me, but that blocks Catan Man from the 10, 9, 5. and he's making some sort of deal potentially that DJ doesn't go to 6-4.
But it could very well be the case.
Yeah.
I assume Catan Man is gonna go 8-10. Any other spot, like if you take such a strong double wheat spot, then you want to play Orbit. Especially, well, at least with the spots available on this board.
So let me ask you this: what about it's 8-10 or 8-4, right? So again, 8-10, gives you the ore, extra ore spot. It also gives you the sheep, and then you potentially can build to the 3-for-1 port and settle. On the there's not going to be a whole lot of traffic down there, which I think is one of the things when you're playing ore wheat sheep. You want to make sure you can get your second settlement spot or even your third, your third settlement spot and potentially a fourth if you need it, depending on what your development cards are drawn. I think if he goes 8-10, that gives him, a settlement spot down there on the 3-for-1 on the 8 side. But what the challenge with that comes is if DJ takes or someone takes 6-4-3, then you're also racing for the spot down there because DJ is going to have, a 5 brick. He's also going to have like 6-4-3 if that's something he takes, or even if he takes 6-4-2. He's going to have a couple of brick and wood to actually build down there to block your settlement spot. I think the reverse side of 8-4, although you double up on the 4, I think you have a pretty good deal of where you also have the ore port that gives you the sheep. I don't see him doing that, and it also blocks Alchemist from the port, which he doesn't really need, but because it's an ore port. Like, what do you think here? I mean, I think it's 8-10 too, but I'm just trying to position some other options here.
Yeah, I like your rationale. I think overall the 8-10 is still a lot better than the 8-4, and one of the reasons is that if you place on the 8-10, you have, like, when you're playing Orbit cheap, it's important to have space available for your third and fourth settlement spot if that is needed or possible. And by placing on the 8-4, you block out one of your own settlement spots on the 4 ore. So I would definitely go 8-10, and also because it's much harder to block. I think the 8-4, like the 8, if you place on the 8-4, the 8 sheep becomes the blocking target. Place on the 8-10, and no one else places on the 8 ore. I think it could remain relatively open. Well, it really depends on whether or not how people value this setup. Like, if they say, hey, he's a double Orbit cheap player that needs to be stopped as soon as possible, then that can definitely become a problem. Another option for him could be placing on the 6-4-3 with the all wood spot.
Yeah, I was gonna say 6-4-2 actually, but yeah, I agree with you going over that side. Because here's the challenge, right? If he's gonna block, a spot for him, if he goes 6-4-2 or even 6-4-3, that blocks sort of the expansion out. Anyway, he goes 8-10, but I was gonna say it blocks the expansion out for both brown and for blue, and you can also get to the wheat port. And you could potentially, if you block the 9 throughout the game, you could trade brick for wood with Jolly. So you block the 9, so he has no wood. You have a lot of wood, and could potentially trade him for brick, so that you can settle on the wheat port, because that would give you let's see 4, 6, 7 points of wheat, and you could also trade the wheat for brick because Jolly's going to have only the 3 wheat, so you'd have 7 points of wheat, trade Jolly wheat for brick, and potentially settle on the brick on the wheat port. That is an option, but obviously chose not to go with that. I think we all agree the 8-10 was the right play there.
Yeah, well, both can work. I think both 4-3 and 8-10 can work. Well, 8-4 can obviously also work, but I think it's way less likely than the game. So now is the last settlement for DJ, and this is one because he could get an extra ore spot on A3. Also go massive wood production with 643, having a 3 port nearby. Well, actually, you have a 1 port nearby anyways. So that's a huge advantage. The 8-4 is also an opportunity here. You can have a really solid or cheap game. However, you would definitely be competing with the Catan man. Play that or cheap game, and well, that will cost a lot of resources. However, if you go for longest road, then you'll be competing with Alchemist, who has a crazy good setup for that. And well, what JollyBaker is gonna go for, that really depends on how the game turns out, I'd say. So definitely tough decision here. I think Jolly will have an interesting role to play. Like if DJ decides to go, he wants to go Orby cheap, then it's key for Jolly to focus on longest road. And if Sides wants to play longest road game, then Jolly probably should get a lot of development cards to contest for the largest army. Otherwise, three players going for the same resource of a same bonus, and the other one going relatively easy to the win condition. Okay, so it's gonna be the Orby cheap game. So then the read by Alchemist worked out really nicely. Started off with a 6.
So we got a 6, so that means that DJ got a wheat and Catan Man got a wheat.
You go quick development card here.
Yeah, so both of them actually have developed. Well, Catan Man has or wheat sheep in hand. So, and also DJ has or wheat sheep in hand. So, do actually. Well, I do, because being the or wheat sheep player, I think you're going to get targeted early. DJ is only on 5 numbers, so I think production for him, you're going to definitely need to be able to keep the robber off of you. So would have, but maybe he's just giving up for a city to get the production early. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, continue with the 8.
So who has the best setup right now? Like if you had to make a guess as who's going to win the game, who do you think is in the lead right now?
I think Alchemist has well, he got blocked on an 8-4 now, so that's pretty tricky. He will be locked out of ore. I could definitely. I think the Orby cheap players are going to compete too much with each other to make a play. However, I think the 6 wheat won't be blocked much. I think for both of them, and the wheat is pretty important and pretty impactful on this game. So that it's really tough to say. It really depends on the start of the game. I feel like how big the chances for Jolly will be if he can now cut off Alchemist. Then didn't steal from Alchemist. Like if he was able to cut off Alchemist to the 6-4-2, then I give him a great chance because he's very able to take the wood. Like he's going for display.
Yeah, so it's interesting that we just mentioned, the 6 gets blocked, so DJ had bought the development card to start. Then we'd be able to move that. He rolled a 7, so it's lucky that he rolled the 7 there, so he can just move it off immediately, because the wheat's going to be a valuable resource for them. But again, to your point, if they buy development cards, move it off quickly, it should be something that's not on the 6 a whole lot. So rolling the 7 there helped. I'm not sure what Catan Man potentially got with his development card yet, so we'll see how that plays out. But either way, I think we could have saw that moving either next turn anyway. So.
Yep. And I think this block also means that DJ recognizes that he is unable to really compete with Jolly for the 4-11. Man rolled 7 instead of activating a knight, so with the 10 sheep block.
Con Man used the knight, and then he rolled a 6, actually.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I'm keeping track of the numbers, so that's very important. So now Alchemist has a 7.
I think he goes right back to the 6. I think it's going to be important for Alchemist here to really find out, when ore has been rolled and who has ore in their hand. So we know that DJ didn't buy the development card. So so he steals from DJ here, which is probably the better choice because Catan Man bought a dev card, which means his ore was used for that, and DJ had an ore in hand. So robbing from DJ there potentially gives Alchemist the chance to pull an ore from DJ, which I think is going to help him in the long term since he doesn't have access to it. So I think that was the right play.
Yeah, sure. I like it as well. So DJ has another robber decision here. Last time he blocked that 10 sheep. I like that block as Catan Man is his sheep competitor.
Yeah, agree.
Go for the same lineup. And now Catan Man doesn't have a knight to off the 10, so Catan Man is in a tough position because so many 7s rolled at the start. Already had 4, so his knight has a relatively low impact. Third 8 already. A lot of sheep and a lot of ore in the game. Catan Man must have more effect. Sheep, wood, started up. He has been robbed once. To actually know what cards he has. My first goal, if I were Alchemist, would putting down a road to the 642. Sure that JollyBaker won't cut you off to that.
Yeah, I think getting to the 642 is going to be important for him for sure. I would definitely also be trying to put down that road just to make sure he doesn't double back. I think it's not really efficient for him to double back now since he's already played, a road down. But I also think he could recognize if he gets the right rolls. If he gets the 9 rolled twice, he would have 2 roads in hand and essentially be able to cut him off. So I agree with you. Being able to do that, I would be trying to put that down pretty quickly as well.
Like the reason why I think it would still be a good move for Jolly is because he has the wood board nearby, and currently it's the 9 wood and so much brick, and like even if you get the 4 wood, still don't have an abundance of wood to be able to port into the board. So yeah, that kind of makes make difficult to get a lot of value out of the board, and I think you need.
Alchemist is looking for ore here, so he's offering 2 sheep for an ore. So it looks like he's trying to take a different line than what we were suggesting as far as getting the road down. Maybe there was some table talk that just kind of said between him and Jolly that there was an agreement that he wouldn't double back on him, and so he's trying to get the ore now because he feels the 642 is safe. Some tables out there that we're just not privy to, but
yeah, that's very possible. We also know Alchemist rolled a 7 already, so he could already have an ore in his hand. 4 for 1 deals wouldn't give him a city, but he might get closer to it, or he might wanting to get a development card here. However, then it doesn't really make sense for him to offer 2 just to get a bit of cards.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what he's doing here as well because, I don't think we've had a 3 or 2. So he doesn't, unless he stole wheat from somebody, then, he doesn't have a whole lot of wheat in hand either. So if he's looking to play the dev card, again, giving up 2 sheep for that, I don't know, makes sense either. So yeah, I'm kind of confused here as well.
Well, if this wood for ore trade goes down, 4 for 1 and passes to Baker roll 8. That's the 4th 8. Jolly, so passes first 10. But it's blocked for. Okay. I mean. So 9 cards in hand.
Yeah, so DJ's got 9 cards in hand. The 10 was rolled, so that was.
Yeah, basically he rolled 2 7s and he got stolen from a couple times. So it's possible for us to say what he has in his hand. However, we know the 6 has rolled a couple times. He doesn't gain much from the 8. So the 6 guarantees speed. He started off on 4. Didn't get a death card at the start, so he gets the wheat and he gets the city. So he can assume he stole a couple ore from the Catan man.
Yep, I agree. I was gonna say because he definitely had a sheep in hand. He had an ore in hand.
Yeah.
Had a sheep. Yeah. So I figured he was close to 4 for 1ing, but did not know that he was that close for sure. So yeah, it's tough to track when you're not knowing what's being robbed and what's essentially from there. But yeah, definitely getting that city down helps him.
I think this is gonna go on the 8 sheep. I think with DJ getting that early city, you want to stop him as much as you can. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree as well that goes there. One of the things about this setup for DJ that I think is kind of unique because it's not something that you see a lot or that you encourage a lot to do is that has the 11 or as well as the 4, but he also has the ore port. So like he could port in, which is not which he's going to probably need to do once he gets that second city down. He could port in the ore to get to the other side of the heat to settle there. And that makes it a little easier for him to expand out versus Catan Man doesn't have a port right now. And so the fact that DJ has the port is a very big deal right now because he can trade in for the resources that he's missing. Where the Catan Man, he may potentially win army or something like that, he's going to have a much harder time expanding out from that territory.
Yeah, fair point. DJ also has the 5 brick, so that will also definitely helps out if it starts rolling. However, it can also be very difficult for him to take army because Catan Man has so much Orbit potential. Like he's so difficult to block. The 10 sheep really stops him from getting death cards. Quite difficult. And that's also a downside of having this hybrid Orbit sheep setup as Jolly has. So he has like good ore, good sheep, also has a brick. It allows for a lot of flexibility, but if you play against someone who fully focuses on Orbit sheep, you have the downside of risking losing army. So we have Alchemist proposing the sheep and the brick for the ore. He's probably targeting the Catan Man here, and if he gets this ore, I feel like Alchemist can build a city on his next turn.
Yeah, I think when Alchemist went on his last turn, he went 4 for 1 on a sheep and took an ore. I think we've got to assume that he also potentially got an ore from one of the other players.
Yeah.
I think he is very close as well. I think if we're looking at his hand, he's got at least 2 ore in hand right now, potentially 3. Depending on what he stole. That trade didn't go through, so I think he's maybe got 2 now then.
Yeah, I assume it's 2 ore to wheat. Now 3 wheat. A lot of wheat in the game actually. Didn't see that coming much.
A whole lot of wheat in the game. A lot of 6s, a lot of 3s. 6 and 3 just rolled. 6, 3, 6. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wheat in the game, at least right now. That's kind of big.
Yeah, and I could definitely see Catan Man doing massive damage here. Could get a city, I think, and he can decide to get development cards. We know that 10 has rolled after, well, quite a while ago. If you had the chance, would you city up here or get 2 development cards?
I think I city up here. I don't feel there's a whole lot of competition right now for army. Not many people are buying dev cards. I noticed that nobody has dev cards, and Catan Man is the only one with a knight played at this point. So I think the city here gives you the better production, and that would help you to compete a little bit more when people start buying dev cards with more production. So my play right now, if I had it in hand, would be to build the city instead of buying more dev cards. I think also, because I think also, if you do that, I think from the standpoint of blocking, people are seeing DJ with the city on the 6-5 11, and they're going to potentially target them as well. So I don't think you're just going to get blocked by yourself. I think you're going to get targeted with DJ if you do that. So he cities up the 6-4 11. Do you think that's the right play there?
If you city up, I think citying up the 4-11. Well, it can be the right play for sure. It really depends on like if you wanted to like if the 6 gets blocked, it's not that bad because you also have the 11 open. However, for DJ, it's much more of a problem. So that's kind of good. But I don't know if he had that opportunity, but I personally see the double dev card here as a great chance. Because DJ already has the lead, and if you have 2 dev cards, I feel like all the blocks are gonna be away from you and still on DJ. So that would be the 5 brick and 8 sheep. And I think the golden opportunity you have then is being able to stay back, but still gain the lead you need to take the army. However, I would definitely do that in DJ's position. However, in Catan Man's position, I feel like sitting up is fine as well. Okay, so we had double 9 rolls. So now we're going to see some action from JollyBaker. Been waiting. Been waiting for this.
Yeah, definitely got the coordinated 9s there. So that's big. Also has 9 cards in hand right now. So back-to-back 9. So he's got 2 roads for sure in hand. He also has a wheat in hand.
Sheep. White certainly has a sheep.
No, 8 rolled. Does he have a sheep? Where did he get?
8 rolls ago, the 10 rolled. After that, 1-7 was rolled, but I think he wasn't stolen from because that was placed on the 8 sheep.
Okay, so yeah, if he has a sheep in hand, and he definitely has settlement because he definitely has the wheat as well. We're definitely going to see him. He's looking to trade for ore here. Here's the question: if you have road settlement in hand right now, right? Do you settle on the wood port? Or do you settle first on the 9-11? I'm sorry, the 4-11. There you go. Yep. So settle on the 4-11 and then build a road to the wood port.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like this. Unless you have the opportunity to do double road and build on the 4-6-3. That would be massive. Overall, I very much like this play. So we got triple nines. What does it do for DJ here? Not a lot because he doesn't gain cards with the 9, and his 8 is still blocked. He does have a couple of wheat in his hand. I don't think he has ore.
So let's see. DJ got the 9. He doesn't get anything with that. The 9. 9's been rolled consistently here, so he hasn't gotten anything from that. He got the 6 rolled, so he's got 2 wheat.
I think he has 6 wheat.
Yeah, he's also got the 3 rolled, so I think he's got at least 5. I think you're also right. He might have 6 wheat in hand. I know he has definitely 5. Because the 6, it went 6, 3, 6, so he's got at least 5. But I'm not sure what he's. Yeah, he just passes his turn. I didn't think he could do much there. He just got the 2 ore though, so he's definitely got 2 ore in hand now and 2 wheat. And then Tom Man got 2 wheat here. Catan Man's got two wheat in hand.
Catan Man has a lot of wheat in hand. He might have 1 ore.
3, or he's got 4 wheat, 5 wheat in hand at least. He's got 5 out of 6 wheat in hand.
Okay.
So again,
he's trying to get some trades down to be able to more effective play than passing.
I think if I'm Catan Man here, I try to trade a wheat for so that's what he's doing. He's trying to trade a wheat for a brick, and I don't know that I'd do it for sheep unless he has an ore in hand. I would be trying to trade it for like a. Okay, so he did trade with JollyBaker. He gave
wheat for brick.
Wheat for brick is what was accepted. We don't. Okay, yeah. So that's exactly what I would have tried to do there too. So his other card was a wood. So he was able to get the road down. So that's a good play for him because he had so much wheat in hand, and we knew that Jolly was going to be short of wheat with the 3. So I think that's a beneficial trade for both of them.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think this gives the city to JollyBaker because already had 1 wheat, I think. Like he started off with a wheat, the 3 rolled 1, so this must be the 3rd wheat he got in the game. I don't think he has been robbed much, so I would be surprised to not see a city from JollyBaker unless the 7 rolls, of course. So Alchemist got the settlement down on the 642. He has quite a lot of wood and not that much brick, so that's that's a big downside for him. I think he's going for the wood board. No, 3-for-1 board on a double wood spot.
I think he goes for the 3-for-1. That gets him to if he goes down, and gets on the 6-3. He has double 6. He has the 4, the 9, the 3. He has 5 or 12, 14 points of wood they can trade in a 3-for-1, and that's also going to be efficient because he rolls all this wood, trades it in for 3-for-1 for the ore, and again, I don't think it's not helping his hand, but again, it's still going to be a long path to getting that city.
Yeah, I think we're gonna see. Yeah. Oh wow. I definitely think this was a mistake by Catan Man as he traded away the wheat for a wood. Would definitely help him. However, if you get a settlement and a city to JollyBaker, it's gonna be tough to beat, especially when the 9 keeps rolling like it does right now, giving Jolly 2 roads.
So here's the question for you. So obviously the 9 rolled, so he's got 2 wood in hand, 2 wheat in hand right now. In addition to whatever the card he had left was. Do you cut off green and connect your roads, or do you build over to the 6-3, 3-for-1 to get yourself more wood? That's an interesting decision, I think. I'm interested to hear your thoughts there.
I think both plays are fine. A play I'm also looking at is placing on the 8-3, getting a bit more ore. However, you don't have that much, so I think the 3 board is an excellent idea. So
I would say the 3-for-1 helpful, but the 3-for-1 also gets you the 6/3 wood, and you have the wood port. That's the reason I would do it.
Yeah. Like it.
And then when the 9 rolls, so if the 9 rolls, you're getting 2 wood, which is a free card. You're essentially getting a free card. Let's say the 9 rolls twice. Getting 2 free cards with the 9, and then you're getting an extra free card on the 3-for-1 with your brick. So that's a really, really good setup. If the 9s keep hitting as they do.
Yeah, now if the 9 keeps hitting as they do, and Jolly has 5 points of production already, while the others are still on 3, I think we can safely say that Jolly is going to win the game. So the hope for the other players is that the 9 slows down a little bit and they can team up on Jolly right now. The advantage from Catan Man by taking this trade is that he won't be blocked a lot now. Like, his spots will be left relatively open because I think players are going to go after the 9 wood, which is definitely not slowing down, and the 11 ore. So that's the advantage here. Overall, I'd say giving a city and settlement Jolly is not what you want.
Yeah, I think that was well, I mean, now the 9s are hitting as they do, but what you see both DJ and Catan Man doing is now starting to buy dev cards. So essentially what they're trying to do is now they've realized where Jolly is in this position here, and I think they're both going to start buying knights to essentially start robbing him to slow him down. It's really the only thing you can do at this point, just slow him down. I don't think you can completely block him because he's still getting, the wood on the 4. If the 11 happens to hit, that's going to be big trouble because getting 3 cards of ore, all the 9s that have been hit, he's going to be able to get the city again on the 9 as well. So 9, 10, 5, and he's just going to be unstoppable at that point. Yeah, so I mean, so how do you stop him here? Like, what do you do? I mean, I think if I'm, I don't know that I'm building up here. I'm trying to cut him off down if I'm Alchemist, right? Because we let him get over to the 6-4 or the 6-3. I just think that's really too good of a spot, and I think you have to block his road. So what I would, unless he's just going to cut through now, but
well,
I'm interested.
Yeah, that's really tough. How do you stop him? I definitely say if the 9 keeps rolling, then you have a chance of winning. So you gotta assume we're playing in a world where the 9 doesn't go as heavy as it has done over the first part of the game. I think blocking the ore is definitely important. Yeah, city's up on the 5, 9, 11. I think that's part of his win condition, and also if he gets on the 3 on board, that's also one of the things you want to prevent. So
he has 11 cards. What do you think he does here, Treeckosaurus? He's got the 9 rolled again, so he's got 2 wood, 2 brick. He's got 4 wood, 4 brick. He's actually got more than that. So I mean, he's got at least 4 wood, 4 brick. So that's 8 there. What else was before that? 2 ore, right? Ore from the 11.
I definitely agree with play of the like, if you can do that right now, then, which I think you can. Well, no. He might still like weed.
I mean, even if he does, he has 4 roads. So just build the roads to get to the 3-for-1 and block out Alchemist from potentially getting trades from other players to block him out.
Yeah.
I still think he has a lot of room for road. But I think the only downside of going to the 6-3 is that you don't connect your roads, right? So they could potentially feed Alchemist Road. But again, DJ and don't have a lot of wood or other
Yeah, I was about to suggest this play. If you go for the 5-10, then you cut off Alchemist. I also like this play, Jolly. So gonna see a knight, probably going on a 9 wood. Or the 3 wheat, I could also see that, but I think you want to cut the 9. Possible.
I agree. I think it has to go on the 9 here.
However, he lacks the wheat for the settlement. However, the 9 can also give those resources. So yeah, I think the 9 is the right move. I could definitely see this work. So I think DJ. Okay, that worked. That was a good prediction apparently by DJ. Overall, I think the 9 is slightly better.
DJ's been playing on Catan Universe. He knows as soon as that robber goes on that number that it's going to hit. So
yeah. That's definitely figured out. Okay. So I think DJ recognized he has to assume that the 9 slows down. So then not blocking the 9 is the right move to do. Like if the 9 doesn't slow down, you don't win. Then I like the block on the 3.
Yeah, and the 3 also gives him 2 wheat. If the 9 hits, he's trading in the wood for the wheat. He still doesn't get an extra wheat. So I agree with that too. I could see both sides of it, but
yeah,
the 9's just gonna hit so much more than the 3. I mean, almost double the percentages. So you realize that you're playing that the 9's already been hitting, but that's not how probability works. But again, you have to assume that it's going to cool off a little bit. But like, still think chancing one roll of a 9 or a 3 hitting, the 9's definitely got a better chance. So
yeah,
I see both sides of it for sure.
Okay, we have a trade proposal here by Alchemist. Wants to get rid of a wood and get a brick. He might be able to cut JollyBaker off to the 3-for-1 port. Well, by placing on the 3-for-1 port, cutting him off to the 5-10. That might be ID. Also, just might be one.
Yeah, I think they're spending a lot of resources to do that because at the end of the day, cut him off to the 5-10. All he does is build an extra road to the brick port, which I think is actually worse.
Yeah.
If he gets the 5-10, he's still trading in brick at 4-1. If you force him to the 10 brick port, then you're giving him 4, 8, 11 points of brick and a 2-for-1. He has the 2-for-1 for both brick and for wood. That would be just a absolute. I'd much prefer him to build right now on the 10-5.
Okay, yeah, I see that. Alchemist also, well, he's definitely targeting DJ, who just rolled the 5 and picked up 2 brick.
I think what he may potentially try to do is if he's able to road settle, and then he settles on the brick port. That also cuts him off from the 5-10, and it cuts him off from the brick port. That's possible. I don't know what's in his hand, but if he's able to do that, I think that's the better play, and to build up from the 5.
Yeah. I would like to see him going all out for the 5-10. Gotta be really tough, but I feel like that. Well, that's maybe a risk you gotta take. Other resources really back up. Road. Still, that extra road though for Jolly might be worth it. Like if the 9 doesn't roll much, then the road is actually bad.
Yeah, so we see him go road settlement, right? So I would have gone from the other side. would have gone from the 8-10 up and built to that. So now you're just taking him to the brick port.
Oh, like that. Okay, yeah. The 3-for-1 port is maybe, and especially if he gets on the 5, then he also has high sheep. So maybe 3 port. But I could definitely see the rationale. Yeah. I think a reason for this play would be that you get to 5 roads instead of setting up roads.
That's definitely a good point. I don't know. It's a double-edged sword, Treeckosaurus. I mean, you either give him the 5-10 or you give him the brick port. But again, keeping in mind right now, he doesn't have a 3-for-1. So like, if you were to build up from the 8-10, so here's the other side of that, right? If you build up from the 8-10, that also gives you more brick.
Yeah.
So you have 2 spots of brick in the 9 and the 4 versus just now 1 on the 10 and the 9 and the 4. So like, you can't really compete with him unless you get more brick when brick is rolled. So I don't necessarily agree with going to the 3-for-1 there for that purpose, because if a 10 rolls, then I get 2 brick, just in the same way in the 9 rolls, he gets 2 brick.
Mm-hmm.
Then if you have a comparable amount of comparison with the wood, because the 9 he gets 2, you get 1. 6 you get 1, he gets 0, and the 4 you both get 1. So the combination of doubling the 9 or the 6 rolling, I think, is pretty even of the number of wood that you would get. I think going to the 10 gives you comparable resources to compete with him for road, versus the 5, you're now still behind in the road race.
Yeah, fair point. So the 9 did roll. Oh. Plan is not completely working out. So what is DJ trying to do here? He's trying to get rid of a wheat and get a bunch of cards from it. He's also considering trading, doing a tough deal with Jolly. I think doing any deal with Jolly is basically suicide.
I think they just trading with Jolly at this point. He's looking for brick and sheep. So he's has a wood in hand. Has wood and wheat, brick, a wood, a wheat, and 2 brick, and then whatever he stole from Jolly. So, or just the extra card. A wood and a wheat and 2 brick in hand right now. I mean, what do you do with this? What do you think he's considering here?
Yeah, this is like, if he has wood and a brick, then I would probably place down row towards the.
Yeah, I realize it's kind of a pointless road to build for DJ. And roads are so rare. I think if you had a road there, which I think you did for sure, do you not just break up the connection? Because I think if you break the connection, right now he's at what, 6 roads. Connects, he can potentially max out in roads. If you don't connect, then I think you're at least giving Alchemist a chance to take longest road, or compete for longest road with him. Yeah, whereas if you allow him to connect, he can potentially max out his roads, and Alchemist can't win regardless. What are your thoughts there? I mean, I know DJ had a road in hand. Do you just think it's too valuable to spend a road when you're you only have the 5, you don't really have any wood to just block him off?
I think it's a great idea, but I also think you want to get some extra out of it, like you're providing service to the rest of the players. maybe you can do something like, hey, if I do this, then I need your help. I need the wood, and so I would probably purposely place the road down on the 8 sheep and say, oh, I didn't see that. So so I would probably go with that, so I could get a better trade of it out of it later on.
And then,
Use it.
And the 9 just rolled again, so I think this is going to put Jolly potentially be able to settle now on the brickport, and potentially also he rolled a 7, so that helps.
Yeah, well, it doesn't help his 13 cards, but overall, yeah, it definitely will unblock the 11. Will put some force on the other players who apparently don't have any development cards right now, so might be able to unblock himself for quite a long time here. So I would put it on Alchemist for sure.
You bought this.
Okay, so not going after Alchemist.
I was going to ask you that same question. Do you not block the 6 wood here?
6 wood or H also possibility. 5 sheep is a possibility. Yeah, like one of them. I would just make it as difficult as possible for Alchemist. Maybe he could guarantee himself a settlement by stealing from DJ here, and it's definitely a consideration. Roll to 12. Jolly that extra sheep. So difficult to block. Like,
when you look at his numbers are 3, 4, 5. Doesn't have the 6 as the only number. He
doesn't have the 8 either.
9, 10, 11, 12. So I mean, he's basically getting cards on every roll. On the 9, he's getting 2. On the 11, he's getting 3. On the 9, getting 2. He's actually getting 4. So he's just getting, his production is so good, and he has ports. Yeah, I just don't see how they stop him at this point.
No, I agree.
The only thing that they could potentially do is DJ would need to build one road to stop him from the 11, and then Alchemist would build 2 roads from the other side. Then I think you could give Alchemist road in that case, like almost to the point of where instead of Alchemist building to the 3-for-1, you just have him build to the other side to stop him from going down, and then DJ builds one road from the other side. I think in that case they block him out along this road, and Alchemist could take road in that point. And I think he's much less of a threat, although he still has a lot of production. But the game is going to go 30 minutes longer with him not getting road. It will if he does.
Yeah. I also think stopping the Catan man is a good thing to do, because he already got 4 points, he already got the settlement down, already has the 3-for-1 port, and is in the lead for the race for the largest army. I think it's actually a good move to stop him instead of Alchemist, especially now you are able to connect your settlements, well, more or less.
Yeah, I think the game's more or less over now, because JollyBaker's now gone through the green setup here. Obviously, just rolled the 11. I mean, it's pretty much over now. He's gonna city up on the 9, 5, 10, and he just needs 1 point, which he can get by settling on the 11, 12. I mean, this game's gonna be over in 3 turns.
Yeah, I think so as well. Alchemist will have to all his resources to make a chance of taking longest road, and I still don't know if it's enough. Yeah, this is a good game.
And that's why I also think DJ building that road there, the 5 down, potentially expands the game a little bit. But then you're giving Alchemist a chance to take road. Yeah. Now that he connects, it's not going to be able to compete with him.
So what is Alchemist up to? Has a development card. Might be able to touch about his cards.
Gorgeous
Got a
of a
brick
mono.
and
It's probably
9 and
would have
11
already
has
played.
rolled. And it's a brick and a sheep.
I was seeing what his development card was because
Brick and a wood is he can do a road. Oh, his development card. Can be anything really. I think it's a mono if he's taking this long.
That's what I was saying. Yeah. So if he has a mono in hand right now, like what do you do with it? Because
4. Stopping Jolly from getting a city is most important right now.
Yeah, I agree. The problem is he's probably going to be able to do it anyway.
Yep, that's definitely the problem. Well,
no, I mean,
I don't know. Can he do that anyway? If he loses all his ore, has the 9 roll, so he has wood brick, double wood brick. So 10, so he has brick sheep. And he has wheat. I don't think the 3 has rolled. I don't know if it was blocked or not. Assume he has wheat as well.
So here's the challenge with this: if you pull his ore, all you essentially do is just he ports his 2-for-1 brick, his 2-for-1 wood, and gets the ore back. Now whether he can still do it or not, I don't know. But and again, ore doesn't really help Alchemist for what he's trying to do. Like right now, JollyBaker's at 8 roads, and Alchemist is at 7. So if he pulls, the wood or brick, he can potentially use that to extend his road. And again, that would slow Jolly a little bit here, but at the end of the day, he still builds the city and then connects in the game over. But yeah, I don't think you can stop it. But
okay,
I think it's
year of plenty. I think I wanted to add that if you steal the ore and he ports his wood brick into ore, then you effectively slow down his road potential. Because he expanded 2 roads. So that would be the way.
Here's what I would have done, and maybe it doesn't really make a difference, but it's something to also consider is to steal, whatever you didn't have and then trade it to Catan Man to build a road between them. That way you at least stall out the connection and you could potentially extend the road at that point. Again, this game is over here, I think pretty soon.
Yeah. Road. Can also get a development card here.
Yeah, do you get a development card? I honestly think I build up and build and settle. I've got so much road stuff. There's no point in trading that in.
Yeah, well, it doesn't really matter anyways, but you could if you want to get the victory point. What also is like the first tiebreaker is win, so that's by far the most important in the Premier League. Second one is victory points, and if you the more decisive you win, if DJ, for example, only has 3 victory points and you play him again later on in the season and that time he wins and you have like 8 or 9 victory points, then you take a massive lead in comparison to DJ. So that's something I would, if I were Jolly, I would just go for the settlement and just have a decisive, and for sure a strong win.
So, sorry, say that again, Treeckosaurus. I didn't understand what you were saying with that. So you're saying also go for the road settlement?
Yeah.
Or you're saying
just make sure you have a fast win.
Well, I mean, if you're going for the fast win, you might be able to pull a victory point sooner than you can. Well,
yeah, but that doesn't guarantee a fast win. Like if you go for victory point and then you need another turn and then another turn to actually win, then other players could be on 7 on 8 victory. And that extra advantage is gone. not that relevant, but I think you extra edge.
I agree, and it's less risk. I mean, you can just get unlucky with pulling the depth cards, and you're taking away the variance by just building road settlement. You have plenty of road building stuff, and then you have the ports, so you're not risking anything by doing that. I don't think Black's going to have enough stuff to cut you off in any spots, so you could safely build road either direction and be fine. So.
So let's see if Alchemist is able to put up a fight for the longest road here. As the 6 is rolled, picked up 2 wood.
He doesn't. He can't build 5 roads right now.
No. I didn't expect him to do so, but okay, he's gonna get a development card. It seems like no, he doesn't do anything. So that 6 doesn't JollyBaker any cards, but we know he has a bunch of sheep, a bunch of brick. 4 brick in his hand right now. Nine, a 10, so that's 5 brick and a couple of sheep. We know for sure he doesn't have any wood, but this brick board will be very valuable as well.
You can just trade his brick in and get the wood. I would say. I'm wondering if he has. Yeah, so that's what he did. Build it up or down here. I don't think it matters, but I think I go up. I go down. Yeah, go down.
That's already done. Does have to victory
yet. I was right. It's 3 turns. This will be the 3rd rotation, and I think the game's over after this rotation.
Yep. So what roles does Alchemist need to stop Jolly from? Oh, okay, this is maybe a bit far fetched. You build 7 rows. I don't know if he has even space available to build 7 rows. Probably does. Yeah.
No, actually, he only has room for 13.
Oh.
You build 1 to the breakport. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So he actually has no way of doing that. Let's see. 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah. So still 13 going back up to the wheat port. So yeah, there's nothing he can do. DJ plays, so it gives him the largest army. So as far as the point structure, he could potentially be tied for 2nd right now. Okay, so he is outright 2nd now.
Yeah. Unless Catan Man has 2 victory points, then he is
unless he has 2 DPs, which could also be a possibility.
8 guards probably do a lot of damage with that, as he only gains orbit and
If you had a knight, do you play it here and just move it to the 9 just to take another card from Jolly?
Yes.
Okay, so I think we can assume he potentially even if he has a mono, I think he has to play it here. So he did move the knight. So yeah, that's what I would. So he doesn't mono. To take another card. I mean, the only difference in that is now it's 3 for 9 instead of 2. But at the end of the day, I think it's still the right play. And he rolls a 3, so yeah, it'd be over here.
If Alchemist is able to pick up another victory point, building a city or getting a bunch of death cards, or actually an interesting dynamic, like how the extra victory kind of matter now. Jolly is going to win. Also make a deal being Jolly. Hey, I'll allow you to get many victory points, but I want to have advantages in the second game we play. I don't see that happening because it would be advantageous for Jolly, but like with
if Jolly doesn't have it in hand, I would, to your point with the victory points and how they play, almost just trade. If I was Alchemist, just trade him something to give him some game here and hope you pull a victory point, or do one more, like, because he can road settle from the top of the 5-2 down. So if he could get the stuff to go road settle to the wheat port, that gets him an extra point. I would just give Jolly the win at that point so that you could potentially be 3-way tied for second.
Second place doesn't matter. Like it matters how many victory points you have.
Doesn't matter. You'd each have 6 points. I'm saying you'd each have 6 points at that point. Like, I'm not. When I'm saying tied for second, I'm saying that all three of them could potentially have 6 victory points.
Okay.
Not really that it means that he wins second, but just the fact that it's all at 6. So if I play DJ again, I'm not a victory point behind.
That's or he also wants a sheep. Assume that give him a second development card.
I think looking back at the starting positions, when I think Jolly started 9-3-11, right?
9
then
3,
also
11, 5 9 10.
Yeah. That's good foresight to see that, because I honestly, when he played the 9-3-11, I was a little surprised there, but it ended up working out. Having the coordinated nines was a huge deal. Because the dice stats, if you look at them, the 9 rolled 11 times in 52 turns. So if we're looking at 36, that's a little bit more than 2 rotations through. For the 9 to roll almost 3 times or a whole nother set ahead is a very big deal, especially when you're doubled on it.
Also a funny thing how I predicted the Wii to be the rarest resource on this board. However, it was the least rarest resource on this board. The 3 rolled times, the 11 rolled well, and 6 rolled well as well. Jolly for sure, by far taking the most.
So the grain was 43 total drawn. Which, well, I think we agreed that ore was sort of the rarest resource here, right? Because the 8 was going to be in the corner. Like if you look at the stats, the ore was the 27 ore total in the game, which is what we said the ore was the rarest. But like just with the 6, 11, the 3 rolled a good bit, I think, in the game as well. So the 3 rolled four times, which is, I guess that's about normal. 4s and 5s just did not roll at all. 4s and 5s. So like with Catan Man on the 4 ore, with Jay on the 5 brick, just did not roll. Yeah, congratulations to JollyBaker winning the premier game here. Just a great performance and played really well. If you want to tell them the next week of games that we'll be doing these again for next week as well. And
we don't have a schedule yet. We're currently working on a script to make it so that the games have the least amount of rematches during the tournament. We can't prevent rematches from happening because we play 8 weeks, have 24 players and 4 players per game, so that's literally possible. However, we want to have as many different type of games with as many different players as possible. So I'll let you know what the schedule is by tomorrow for sure, and preferably today. And you'll be able to find it on this channel, on this Twitch channel, by selecting one of the panels below. One of them is called the Premier League. If you click on that, there will the schedule pop up once it has been, well, definitive.
Awesome. Well, Treeckosaurus, thanks so much for letting me host with you. Definitely enjoyed it. Definitely enjoyed the time with you and hearing your analysis on the game, and hopefully it was helpful from my side as well. So I definitely enjoyed it. So appreciate the time.
I really enjoyed it too. Excited to when we do this again. And viewers, people in the chat, thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you again when the next Premier League is going to happen, and otherwise we'll see you Thursday. Okay, thanks for watching, and I'll end this. Bye.